transparent, undiluted. We go there. We bring you the news behind the news. Hana FM News. If it's new, then it's news.
Good afternoon, welcome to the World News at noon on 103.5 FM. On the national news this afternoon, Aviation Minister reaffirms commitment to reducing aviation environmental impact. On the African news, South Sudan opposition in distress as Marcos arrest trigger tensions. On the foreign scene, 29 Palestinians die in Israeli airstrike on Gaza building. In business, Nigeria's fuel prices to decrease as government implements new policy. Finally, on the sport news, Aston Villa eyes Lookman for summer transfer. Welcome once again to the news. I am Temitope Dada. Now the news in detail. Labour's Party 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has called on the opposition to voice their concerns against poor governance, stating that Nigeria is on the brink of collapse. He made this statement at the party's National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja, lamenting the rise in poverty and hardship faced by Nigerians. Obi highlighted the dire situation in Nigeria, citing increased poverty and begging, even in upscale locations. He emphasized the need for collective action to address these issues, starting within the Labour Party. The former presidential candidate stressed that these issues require immediate attention and action from the opposition. The Labour Party must take a stand against bad governance, according to Obi. The party's National Executive Committee meeting aimed to address pressing issues affecting Nigerians. By speaking out, Obi hopes to inspire change and promote a better future for the country. Also in the news this afternoon, the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to minimizing the aviation industry's carbon footprint. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo emphasized this goal during a meeting with the House Committee on Aviation in Abuja yesterday. Keyamo highlighted the financial challenges of transitioning to a greener aviation industry, citing Nigeria's limited resources and infrastructure. Keyamo noted that Nigeria accounted for only 2.5% of global CO2 emissions in 2015. However, he acknowledged the difficulties in investing in sustainable aviation fuel research and infrastructure. Despite these challenges, Keyamo assured that aviation agencies are working together to reduce the industry's environmental impact. Their initiatives aim to address climate change concerns while promoting sustainable aviation practices by exploring alternatives and implementing eco-friendly solutions. Moving on to the African news, the opposition in South Sudan is facing internal conflicts after the arrest of Riek Machar, the leader of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition by President Salva Kiir's government. Machar was detained 2 weeks ago for allegedly instigating deadly violence against government forces in the north. The opposition's armed branch, loyal to Machar, has strongly opposed the decision to replace him. Some of the members loyal to Machar boycotted the recent meeting, highlighting the deep divisions within the party. Analysts warn that these troubles could jeopardize the fragile peace in South Sudan since 2018 and potentially push the country towards another civil war. The transitional period has been extended 4 times since 2018 and presidential elections are yet to be held. The situation remains precarious with ongoing tensions and warnings of potential civil unrest. The crisis could further destabilize the country, emphasizing the need for a unified opposition to work towards a more stable future for South Sudan. On the foreign foreign news this afternoon, a devastating Israeli airstrike on a multi-story residential building in Gaza City has claimed the lives of at least 29 Palestinians, including children. The attack was initially reported to have killed 23 people, but the death toll rose as rescue teams searched for survivors. The Israeli military claims it targeted a senior Hamas terrorist responsible for planning attacks in the area, using precision weapons to minimize civilian harm. Eyewitnesses described the horrific scene with just covered bodies of children being carried away from the rubble by distraught relatives and rescue workers. The Israeli military also accused Hamas of using civilians as human shields, violating international law. The attack is part of Israel's ongoing military operations in Gaza, which have resulted in significant casualties and displacement. Thousands of residents fled last week after the Israeli military ordered evacuations, citing efforts to destroy terrorist infrastructure. However, residents claim the area struck was not covered by the evacuation order, leaving many families vulnerable to the attack. Lacrosse coming from Ukraine this afternoon. Ukrainian President Zelensky has alleged that at least 155 Chinese citizens are fighting for Russia in the ongoing conflict. This statement comes after the capture of 2 Chinese fighters earlier this week, marking the first official acknowledgement from Kyiv that China is supplying Russia with manpower. Zelensky suggests there may be even more Chinese nationals involved, citing information gathered by his government. China has swiftly denied these claims, stating they have no basis in fact. Beijing's foreign ministry spokesman Lin Jian said they are still verifying the situation with Ukraine and implied that any Chinese soldiers involved are operating in a private capacity. The presence of Chinese citizens fighting for Russia raises significant questions about international involvement in the Ukraine conflict. With tensions escalating, Zelensky's statement has fueled concerns about the extent of China's support for Russia. And on the business report this afternoon, Nigeria's oil marketers are expecting a significant drop in petrol prices soon. This comes after the federal government's decision to continue selling crude and refined products in naira. A major player, Dangote Refinery, is likely to lower its petrol loading costs by the end of the week, contributing to the price reduction. Chinedu Okadike, National Publicity Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, reassured the public of the forthcoming price drop. However, he couldn't project the expected price due to uncertainty over the government's selling price. This move is expected to bring relief to Nigerians who have been struggling with high fuel costs. The Federal Executive Council directed the full implementation of the suspended Naira for crude agreement with local refiners, emphasizing that the initiative is a key policy designed to support sustainable local refining. This development is seen as a positive step towards boosting the country's economy and reducing dependence on imported fuel. In entertainment this afternoon, Nigerian Afrobeat singer Davido has addressed rumors of a rift with fellow artist Tiwa Savage. Davido dismissed the notion of any lasting conflict, describing their differences as a temporary disagreement. He emphasized his affection for Tiwa Savage, referring her as his big sis. Davido shared fond memories of their time together, revealing that they used to stay in the same house. He spoke highly of Tiwa Savage, saying she's cool and that she saw him as a young artist. This insight into their past relationship helps to clarify the nature of their connection. By speaking out during the interview, Davido aims to put the rumors of a lasting rift to rest. His comments provide a clear understanding of his relationship with Tiwa Savage, showcasing their friendship and mutual respect. And finally, on sport news this afternoon, Aston Villa is hoping to secure Champions League qualification to lure Super Eagles star Ademola Lookman to the club this summer. The villains are among several Premier League giants interested in signing the Nigerian international, including Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Villa holds a strong interest in Lookman and remains hopeful it will join if they achieve Champions League qualification for a second successive season. Lookman's impressive performances have caught the attention of top clubs, making him a highly sought-after talent in the transfer market. Atalanta is seeking around €55 million to let Lookman leave. However, rejected offers of €40 million last summer. Villa's ambition to compete at the highest level could be the deciding factor in Lookman's decision as he looks to take his career to the next level. And with that, we have come to the end of the World News at noon on Honor 103.5 FM. Before we go, here is a recap of the major stories. On the national news this afternoon, we informed you that the Aviation Minister has reaffirmed his commitment to reducing aviation environmental impact in Nigeria. And on the African news, South Sudan opposition is currently in distress as Marcus' arrest has triggered tensions. On the foreign scene, 29 Palestinians have died in Israeli airstrike in Gaza. In business, Nigeria's fuel price is set to decrease as government implements new policy. And finally, on the sport news, Aston Villa is eyeing Lookman for summer transfer. For Eyewitness Report news mentions and news commercials, contact the Honor FM newsroom at 0817-675-5555 or 0913-600-1035. You can also visit our website at www.honorfm1035.net for more information. The news was edited by Adidamola Saka. I am Temitope Dada. Thanks for listening.